Hey there, I'm Zach Attack, and now I'm officially a marine biologist because I just graduated from college. And I started thinking, what did I wish I knew before I got involved in my degree? Well, I started thinking about what I wanted to do, or what I wanted to know, and then I started thinking about other people as well. So I ended up interviewing a few people and sending a few emails out. In this video, I ended up interviewing Dr. Susan Bell at USF, Dr. Philip Motta at USF, and Dr. Stephen Kajiura from FAU on what did they wish they knew before they became marine biologists. Check it out.
Well, I wish I knew more about mathematics. I find that as I've gone on in my career, I see myself stumbling into different aspects of mathematical biology that I wish I had a better grasp of. And so I wish that I had taken some more serious, higher level math classes when I was an undergraduate in college. I think that would have helped me a lot. I've had to sort of learn on my own and also rely on colleagues to help me through some sticky problems. But I wish I had done that for what I've actually ended up doing. So mathematically, I think I needed some better help there. I think that's really the one thing that I can identify as something I wish I had known more about at that point.
I think one of the most important things I should have known to become a marine biologist is how much you have to prepare for it in school, how hard you have to work, and how much all the various courses count towards your degree and towards becoming a marine biologist. So you have to start very early.
So I wanted to be a marine biologist since I was a little kid. It's always something that I wanted to be, but I didn't have any adults who were able to provide any guidance for me. Many adults who had done that before, who were able to say you should do this, this, and this. So I've had to stumble my way through it as I went along. And one thing that is really important in this type of work is good communication skills. To be able to speak well for public speaking, and to be able to write well. And so these things are critical. If you have an opportunity to do a lot of creative writing or public speaking, these things are really going to help you as you advance through your career. In addition, like it or not, mathematics is going to be important to you. In all your science courses, fine. Everybody knows you have to be good at sciences to be a scientist. But math is so intricately entwined in all of this that you really need to know your math as well. So math, English, and your sciences, and that's really what you need to know in order to excel. Another thing that will be really important as you try and develop your career in marine sciences is to take advantage of networking opportunities that you have at scientific conferences. If you get an opportunity to go to some sort of science conference like the American Elasmobranch Society, the American Society of Ichthyologists and Herpetologists, Society for Integrative and Comparative Biology, whatever the particular area is that you're interested in, those conferences really provide you with the best way to see who's doing what the latest techniques are, what the latest research is, and it gives you an opportunity to interact with other students, interact directly with the faculty, and determine what areas you find most interesting. And so that's another really important aspect of career development and knowing what to do.
Yeah, I think some of the hardest things for me was being almost the only woman that was in a graduate program for marine biology and or as working in sort of a research lab and or starting out even here at USF as a faculty member. But all those things left me sort of on my own. I had to learn very quickly how to work with mostly men, and that was interesting. It's interesting. It was sort of disappointing I didn't have any more female colleagues, but I learned ways to find them in different places and develop a network that way, which I think was really important for me to be able to work through some of the challenges that you face as being a woman in science.
Do you think that there are more women in science nowadays than there were
absolutely.
previously?
When I first came to USF, there might have been, in the late 70s, there may have been maybe 25% of women in the introductory biology class. Now it's well over 60%. In the graduate program, we saw, again, the same kind of ratio where you have a small number of female graduate students, mostly male graduate students. Now we find, especially in the marine type of subjects, that we have a lot more females coming in and being well prepared and doing extremely well. So it's very exciting.
I think that one of the biggest challenges for myself and for students is integrating all the sciences into your knowledge base for the marine biology degree. Otherwise, as a student, you probably don't realize that math is very important. It is extremely important. Biology, physics, chemistry, all those subjects are extremely important, and you have to do well in them.
In college, the problem that a lot of students face is that they don't want to do the work. I speak from experience as a faculty member that they want to just jump in and go swim with the fish. Yeah, that's fine, but you need to understand the chemistry, the biochemistry, the physics, and the math, and everything that leads up to the fun stuff later on. So you've got to do your sheer bottom time. You've got to do the work in the first place in order to get to the point where you're able to jump in the water and go swim with the fish. And then when you do, you will really understand what's happening. And so I think that's one of the limiting factors is basically skipping ahead when you really need to do the background. And in terms of in the early careers, I think networking is so critical. You really need to get out there, make yourself known for what you're doing. Be friendly. Go up and talk to the faculty. Faculty, we're friendly people for the most part. We're happy to talk to the students. And if you want to ask us about our research, you want to ask us some question, what we do for a living is talk. You can't shut us up. And so we're happy to talk to you. And we'd be happy to provide any sort of guidance. So take advantage of that opportunity, whether it's at your college or at a scientific conference, anywhere. Go talk to the other established scientists, see what they're thinking, see what they have to say, pick their brains and get some feedback that way. I think that's one of the great lost opportunities that I see for young early career scientists.
Well, the first thing is that you don't understand how important it is to do well in high school, in your science subjects, as well as an undergraduate in college, because they really do play a large role in your advancing in the professional world of marine biology. So that's my first plug for even that physics class that you cannot understand why you have to take it. It does count. People look at it when they make decisions about admitting you into programs or giving you awards or how you proceed professionally. So just work hard in that sense. And I also think that I would agree that many of the kinds of things that help you get interested and stay interested in the marine sciences and marine biology specifically is the opportunities to research different kinds of things on your own. You have wonderful access to all sorts of web sources that can give you things to read about. I encourage you to look and explore on your own and develop some interesting ideas, get some interesting perspectives, and also read about some of the history of different people in the field of marine biology. Maybe read some of the essays that they write about how they got interested, what they did, and what was the main sort of features that helped them be successful. We'll give you some perspective on the fact that many people had hurdles they had to overcome, that sometimes the pathway is not so simple, and there are setbacks and disappointments, but how people dealt with that and some of the interesting things that they were able to develop from maybe having specific challenges.
I would suggest for aspiring biologists that they start early with their studies and, again, do extremely well in your classwork as best you can. You have to do well. You have to do well in all subjects. Even English is important. Students don't really understand that because you'll be doing a lot of writing. And so really aspire from high school right through to college to prepare yourself for it as best you can. If at all possible, as a student, you should try and do some research. You should, if you are in college, try and get into somebody's lab to do some research as an undergraduate. If you're in high school, even in high school, start by doing some research projects related to marine biology. It doesn't matter what it is, but just do something.
typically when people think of marine biology, they think of a couple of different career tracks. They want to work for the state or federal government with Fish and Wildlife or NOAA, one of those agencies, or they typically think I want to work in academia. I want to be a faculty member, because that's what they see. They see their faculty members all the time, and they say, well, that must be what marine biologists do. That's what I want to do. But there are so many other options available out there. Private consulting is perhaps one of the most fun, because you're able to go out and do the science. You're able to get out in the field and do the sampling, do the analysis, write up your reports, and you're able to do a lot of this and still go home at night and be done. Unlike faculty members who work is never done, because when you go home, you're still grading or whatever. So things like that, outside the typical sort of career path. There's other things you can do. Work in things like public aquaria, public outreach. There's a big demand for people in the NGOs. Think of Environmental Defense Fund, or any of these sort of non-governmental agencies that have a real demand for marine scientists who are able to communicate well, understand the issues, and get that across to the public, and engage the public, convince the public that they need to understand and be aware and be engaged in the topic itself for their own sake. And I think there's a big opportunity there for people to look for a career that's outside the traditional, but still doing marine science and making an impact.
So my name is Dr. Susan Bell. I've been a professor of biology here at University of South Florida since 1979. So I've been here a long time and seen a lot. I love being a professor because I love the teaching and research aspects. It's what I think the best job in the whole world. One of the type of projects that we're involved with have ranged from looking at oyster reef ecology, we work with mangroves, I work with satellites and seagrasses, underwater landscapes. My students have also been working on some predator-prey studies with fish and crabs and mussels. We do a whole bunch of different kinds of projects, and I think that's what keeps me going, is that I learn something new every single day. And I don't know if you can say that in many other positions.
Okay, I'm a marine biologist, and more specifically, I'm an ichthyologist, which means a fish biologist. It's a fancy word for one type of marine biologist. So I study fishes, mostly sharks, sometimes rays, but we also study what are called bony fishes, what everybody knows as regular fishes. So we study feeding, we study bite force in sharks, we study how sharks feed, we go out and actually have work with sharks, we do projects on shark swimming, shark biting, shark's teeth, and we even do projects for the US Navy. We've done research for the US Navy on shark bites on their equipment, and so generally marine biologists tend to be more pigeonholed. We tend to get smaller and smaller areas, so really at some point you have to find your niche. Do you want to work on sharks? Do you work on feeding? Do you want to work on genetics? Do you want to work on fish, bony fishes, octopus, whatever it is, you've got to find your niche and really work hard towards it.
I'm Kajiura. I'm a professor in the biology department at Florida Atlantic University. My work is primarily on the sensory physiology of sharks and rays, how they use their electroreceptors to detect the world around them. But in addition to my sensory work, I've also been working for a number of years studying the migration of the blacktip sharks as they come down the east coast of the U.S., spend the winters in Florida, and then move back up north again. You can follow our work on Twitter, Instagram, @SharkMigration, or our Facebook page, FAU Shark Migration.
That was great. I just wanted to take a moment to thank all the professors involved for allowing me to interview them and take time away from their research so I could bring their information to you, the viewers. And of course, thank you guys for checking out this video. I'll catch you on the hook.